What is going on today, guys? There have been recent developments with AI generative music that may spell out the beginning of the end. For them, not for us. Yeah, usually people say that and they're like, this is the beginning of the end of music. No, it's the other way around this time. Two lawsuits were filed yesterday by UMG, Warner, and Sony against Suno AI as well as Uncharted Lab Incorporated, who is the developer of Udio AI. Both of these platforms use AI to generate music based on a prompt that you provide. Sometimes it leads to people making songs about shitting or nutting your pants, which is what I prefer to use AI for. Other times it leads to people just ripping off other people's styles. While on one hand what these sites do is rather impressive, the way it is believed to be trained is what people have an issue with. And it's actually been proven in the past that Udio is doing something shady. In a previous video of mine, I had shown that you can copy the tags of an artist on Rate Your Music, paste it into Udio, and it will spit out virtually the same style. Not just the same style, but it sounds exactly like the artist whose tags you had copied. What happens when you take those same tags and then you put it into Udio? That's weird. That's literally Blade's voice. Feel the frost as my heart takes flight. Ice in my veins. Those are two songs there that are literally Blade's voice. So it's definitely a great time to not be one of these AI music platforms. I honestly couldn't be happier though. I'm like a kid on Christmas who just got a Nintendo 64. I'm excited. I can't wait. They're being accused of training their algorithm with copyrighted music that they do not have the consent to use. Now this is all new ground and there are very few laws in place regarding AI and AI music. The fact that 3 major labels are working together could bring a tear to my eye. Now don't get me wrong, I don't want to suck corporate dick here. But they have the power and the money to actually set precedent here, and precedent needs to be set. Not only with machine learning, but machine learning in relationship to art of all forms. In the first article that came out about the weighing of a lawsuit, they did not respond to comment. And that's probably because they were too busy shredding all the documents and destroying their computers. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Shred the documents. They are seeking as much as $150,000 per copyrighted work that was infringed, which seems like a lot of money, especially since I'm assuming they weren't making a ton of money off of this. But you know what I say, fuck them. Now the motives of these record labels is probably pretty greedy just based on this statement here. The music community has embraced AI. No, we haven't. And we are already partnering and collaborating with responsible developers to build sustainable AI tools centered on human creativity that put artists and songwriters in charge. But we can only succeed if developers are willing to work together with us. Unlicensed services like Suno and Udio that claim it's fair to copy an artist's life work and exploit it for their own profit without consent or pay set back the promise of genuinely innovative AI for us all. Now obviously they're not completely against AI based on that statement, but realistically they're just mad that they're not getting cut in on it. And obviously there are uses of AI that don't suck as much. A lot of the ways it's been incorporated into music, video, and image software have been groundbreaking or time-saving. You know, things such as noise removal, upscaling, stem separation. A lot of musicians, producers, and artists just have issue with it doing the creative part that we actually like doing this art form for. While I'd estimate most artists don't like the idea of people generating serious songs from a text prompt, they most likely are even more against training on copyrighted content without consent. The co-founder and CEO stated that Suno's technology is transformative and designed to generate completely new outputs, not to memorize and regurgitate pre-existing content. I don't know, it definitely regurgitated Blade's voice twice in those examples I showed earlier. It's kind of hard to say that it's transformative when it'll spit back a voice that it was trained on in the past. Now I know some of you may say, hey, Blade's voice is not the most unique. That is really digital and processed sounding. Well, how about this? You can remake Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You and Udio with a specific prompt, mostly featuring tags, and the name with spaces in between every letter. Transformative, unique, creative. If you didn't hear any music there, it's because it was so transformative that it got copyright blocked by YouTube for being the original song. If you did hear music there, maybe my commentary over it was enough to be considered transformative. And obviously I can't play the original song because large labels often abuse Fair Use. But it's a song that makes you want to pull your hair out every Christmas and also makes Mariah Carey and her label millionaires. They also said they don't allow users to include the names of musical artists in their written prompts when creating songs. The irony is that while you can't use artists' names, you can just use the tags of their music on Rate Your Music and get back their voice. Now, speaking of fair use, many AI companies argue that such training is protected by copyright's fair use doctrine. See, I hate this because fair use is such a beautiful thing, and the fact they're trying to abuse it for this purpose makes me sick. The fair use doctrine allows you to use copyrighted material in your own material for limited and transformative purposes. Generally to comment, criticize, or parody the original content. You obviously need the source material to effectively critique something, and it can be done without the consent of the copyright owner, as it should be. Fair use is a defense against copyright infringement claims. Whether something is considered fair use is decided in court. Based on these 4 factors here, you can pause the video if you want to read it a bit more. I don't want to bog down this video going into what exactly constitutes fair use and not. The issue with fair use is it generally refers to a single piece of work, and these AI trained algorithms can make an infinite amount of work. So it makes the discussion of whether something would be fair use fairly complicated. For instance, if you were worried about it serving as a market replacement for the original copyrighted work, whatever the website makes is dependent on whatever words you put in. You can get something exactly like another song, or you can get something that I believe sounds different. Either that or it was created with someone's voice that you do not recognize. A question to ponder is whether using the voice of another artist without their consent via AI training serves as a market replacement. Now, you can't copyright your own voice because a voice is actually considered a tool. But when they wrote that, they were probably not thinking about how people will use copyrighted songs in the future to train a voice in order to sound exactly like someone else's voice. You know, minus a few artifacts. Suno and Udio have been questioned in the past about what their AI is trained on, but never gave a straight answer. Hold on, let me change something really quick. Okay, that's better. The funny thing is one of their investors said what they weren't willing to say. Suno investor Antonio Rodriguez admitted that Suno do not have licenses for whatever music it was trained on. Yeah, he probably shouldn't have said that. They're gonna have to murder this guy now. He said it was no concern to him because this lack of such licenses is the risk we had to underwrite when we invested in the company, because we're the fat wallet that will get sued right behind these guys. If we had deals with the labels when this company got started, I probably wouldn't have invested in it. The record labels are also suing several unnamed people that they believe helped them scrape all this music to be used in training. And that's where the story ends currently. As you can tell by this video, it's really hard to predict how this would go, especially since there is no legal precedent comparable to this situation. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. I promise I will protect your music from AI training with my life. Subscribe if you're new here. If you want to support what I do on this channel, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member. For as low as $5 a month, you get access to exclusive content and other goodies. And most importantly, it keeps me from having to shill Unison audio products or courses like those other poor bastards. I'll see you guys next time.
Bang Incorporated.